hands up if you ever cheated on a test. Anyone? Now raise your hands up if you ever skipped a class before. Now you can keep those hands up if you ever felt like rebels doing so. You can put your hands down now. I think I've seen enough. You're not rebels, okay? You're just tired, or maybe you're lazy from studying. But here's my prediction. Before I even finish my sentence, some of you have already predicted what my talk is going to be about. Because when you hear the word rebellion, you think about something loud, you think about causing chaos, or even being reckless. But what if I tell you, rebellion isn't always like that? What if rebellion was quiet? What if the most rebellious thing you could have done was stop forcing yourself to fit in these small boxes that were never meant for you in the first place? If you were to ask me what is the most rebellious thing I've ever did, it wasn't breaking a school rule, but it was much more of ignoring a template. Now, before that sounds dramatic, let me explain. Because the same reason this sounds confusing to everyone is the same reason why I'm talking about it. Let's say people follow templates all the time. Template for school works, template for essays, even templates for how you're supposed to succeed. So that is why today my talk focuses on teaching you guys on how to break the rules. And I'm not talking about the rules that keep you safe, not the rules that protect you from others, but these are the rules that are invisible, that keep you small, predictable, and you end up performing instead of actually learning. You see, for the longest time I could remember, I treated my own life like it was a math problem. You know the feeling. You have the prompt and you do your work step by step and you get the right answers. School felt like that. Even my friendships felt like that. Most of the times, I felt like I was always solving for the variable of being liked by others. And it was a clear formula. It felt safe, it felt efficient. It was like I had a map for everywhere I had to go. But then, along the way, something changed in me. It was a new perspective, a new mindset. You see, my brother, he's very deeply passionate about physics. He told me about Einstein. He told me that Einstein didn't discover the theory of relativity by staying in the known laws of physics. He had to question them, to wonder, what if the speed of light was constant for everyone, even if it meant that light itself had to bend? In a sense, he had to break Newtonian's laws of physics to find the deeper truth. And this wasn't him being reckless, but it was him being curious. And soon after, I started applying his own thinking in my own life. Because one day in physics class, I somehow found the wrong kind of right. We had to explain about specific heat capacity, which is basically why some things like water they heat up slowly. The assignment was very simple. I had to make a poster. I could have copied a diagram from the textbook. It would have taken me, 10 minutes? I could have done it with AI or ChatGPT, and I would have done it in 5 minutes. I could have copied something from the internet, and my teacher would still give me the A. My teacher would be happy, everyone would be happy, and I would have moved on to the next problem. But in that moment, I stared at my blank canvas, and I felt nothing. I felt empty. Yes, I was learning, I was doing my assignment well, but I wasn't curious. And it was at that moment I realized I could paint the facts perfectly and make the most beautiful poster in the world, but then again, I would still not understand why. I would follow the rules, but still be a complete stranger to the knowledge. I could perform smart, but I was never curious about it. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't failing to follow the rules, but I was following the wrong rules. I was following the rules that rewarded the appearance of knowing. It was not the messy, beautiful thing that actually matters, which is the act of finding out. So today, my talk it's not about anarchy. It's not about burning your textbooks or disobeying your teachers or defying your parents. It's about running a small experiment in your life. Think about it as breaking the rules that were never meant to make you wiser in the first place. It was only designed to make you predictable. There is this concept in psychology called the self fulfilling prophecy. A sociologist named Robert Merton described it like this: when you believe that something is true, even when it's not, our actions can actually make it come true. So, in a sense, you can put it in this way: if you believe that you are limited by rules, then you stay in these boxes. But if you start to paint your own picture, you believe bigger things are possible, then your actions can actually match this belief. And that is the power of self fulfilling prophecy. To make this more real, here are some safe rule breaks that I would like to share to everyone. They're small enough that you wouldn't get called by the principal, but they're powerful enough that they can actually shape the way you think. Rule break number one: replace the command do it with the question what if? What if, before you start looking at the checklist or rubric how to do your assignment, you write down one thing you're genuinely curious about? You make your own prediction. This isn't you refusing to learn, but this is actually you using the rules to learn something that is real and not just to perform for a grade. Rule break number two: allow public mistakes. You see, people are so deeply trained that mistakes are contagious. They believe that if you do something wrong, you'll be marked, judged, or even exiled by society. But do you really believe that this is true? Because the way I see it, mistakes are room for improvement. They're the first steps to success. And without you failing first, then you wouldn't allow these mistakes to learn the bigger picture. These mistakes shape what you think. And, well, you may say, laws exist to keep us safe, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm not talking about defying your parents, like I said, but like I said, I'm talking about running small experiments in your life. It's about you going out of these invisible boxes that you first come in because they're comfortable, because they're the accepted formats and they're the unspoken rules of school. And you may ask me too, why does any of this matter? Because the system, the school system, it rewards predictability. Your brain, it gets so addicted to the short, safe win that sometimes you value the A over the understanding. But let me tell you this: the ability to steer your own life, the original thought, what actually matters is not from hitting a target someone else painted. It's when you decide to act and learn rather than just obey and use these experiments to discover a deeper capacity of yourself. So, before I end my talk, I would like to share one more thought. You may get the perfect grades, let's say. You may get all the praises in the world for being the smartest person in the room. But then again, if you think about it, you might also graduate or get the job or hit the milestone, and then you realize you never truly discovered what you thought you mastered. So go ahead, break the rules, not to be reckless, but to be human. Thank you.